What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Nintenjoel here once again, and it's pickup time once again. I believe we are on episode number 38 of the pickups, and yeah, if you've been following along with my channel, I am trying to fill this shelf up as quickly as possible. It's not a very big shelf, but the amount of games that has gone on it in just a few episodes is pretty freaking crazy. Especially last episode just really seemed to beef it up a lot, so join me in my pickup madness. So I got a lot of pickups for you guys this time, all kinds of different games from a few different sources, and some gems that I have been after for a really long time, so be sure to stick around for the whole video and check out some of the amazing games that I picked up. So yeah, without further ado, check out the pickups. Alright, so let's just get straight to the pickups. First thing I have for you is something that you guys may not think is all that cool, but I think it's cool as shit, and I don't think I've shown you guys it yet, but it's a silver PS2 controller, and I have two silver slim PS2s and no silver controllers, so I was pretty stoked to get this. Works perfectly. I don't remember where I got this from. It was like a Craigslist find or like a garage sale, something like that. I don't remember, but let's put that over there for now. I traded some CDs and a vinyl to a friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. He had a stack of Nintendo games, and the vinyl that I had was worth quite a bit, so he was totally willing to trade. And though I didn't need much from the games, there was a few label replacements in there, so that was good for my collection. Got better label games, and then got rid of my old ones that had shitty labels. And then there were two games that I did end up keeping. The first one was something that I haven't played since I was a kid, and that's Slalom. And this is cool because it's a flat top 5-screw version. Pretty awesome. Nothing super crazy or anything, but still cool to get. And then the other one that I got is crazy, man. I did not know what this game really was. It's just Rambo. You're just like, oh, it's just a Rambo game. It's just going to be an action game. This is not just an action game. This is a Zelda 2 clone, or like Battle of Olympus or Faxanadu. This is like a side-scrolling RPG, action RPG, but it's a very similar to Zelda 2, except for graphically. Like, graphically, it's its own world. It's totally different. It's a war game, but pretty much the gameplay is like identical. You get weapons and you get experience, and yeah, it's crazy. Had no idea. That's a cheap game that I highly recommend you pick up before people find out what that really is. So thank you, Jim, for that trade. Awesome. I had a ton of stack. I had a stack of games to trade and sell. In fact, I still actually have quite a few of them. And that's always nice to help me get games that I don't have. And then on my local gaming group, somebody named Sean that I've done trades with before actually posted some games for sale, and I decided to grab one of them, and that is Fallout New Vegas, the Ultimate Edition for PS3. I haven't really played any of the Fallout games, but I know I'm supposed to. Like, people say they're really freaking good, and with all the hype of Fallout 4, I'm kind of overhearing about Fallout right now, but I will get to the Fallout series eventually. I'm actually more excited to play 1 and 2 because they look like Shadowrun on Super Nintendo to me. That being said, excited to play the newer Fallouts as well. Okay, so the next stuff I got was actually from... Oh, thank you, Sean, by the way, very much for that. He gave me a deal. This is only $10, so hell yeah. And it's complete. And then had some game store credit. I always do. I think every single episode I've talked about this game store and how I have credit and I get a stack of games because I always have credit there. They give decent credit, so I got Trojan on NES, and it's also a flat top 5-screw version. That's cool. And I had never played Trojan before. I thought it was a game that I thought I knew what it was, and it totally was not. I think I was getting it confused with Joust for some reason, but Trojan seems like a decent game, so that's cool. And then definitely a good game, a second Capcom game in a row. This is Bionic Commando, and Bionic Commando is a really good game. I had that when I was a kid. That actually came with my NES when I bought my NES as a kid. Yes, I bought my own NES as a kid. It was like $30, I believe, and it came with like, I want to say like 10 or 12 games or something like that. Bionic Commando was one of them, and I don't really know what happened to my copy over the years, but this one's nice and clean, and I got it for cheap at the game store, so awesome. Codename Viper complete in box. Really dinged up, sun-faded box with a sticker on it, but this was cheap. It was like, I think it was like $8 or something like that. 8 or 10 bucks, something like that, but yeah, pretty awesome. Codename Viper is a really good game, by the way. I'm sure I've mentioned it in my videos before, but if you like Rolling Thunder, Man, it's basically a Rolling Thunder clone that is really fun. It's got good graphics. It's got decent sound. I mean, I really don't have any complaints with this game. I love Codename Viper. It's actually a recent favorite of mine because I had never really played it before, but when I did, I was just like, holy crap, this is exactly like Rolling Thunder, not in a bad way. So yeah, check that game out if you want a cheap game that's actually decent. Okay, and then I got a few Master System games, always on the hunt for those. Zillion is a game I've been after for a little while. This game is compared to like Metroid, and to me it looks like Mission Impossible 2, and there's some touches of like some Shadowrun influence in this because you have to go around like deactivating computers and putting codes in computer terminals to do certain things and to advance in the game, and it's pretty neat. The concept behind this game looks really cool, and I'm actually very excited to play it. Unlike Zillion II, I literally got Zillion II because I'm just after Master System games right now. I have to say this is the one system I might go for a full set on. In fact, I'd say I am pretty much going for a full set. You guys can see and hear that right now. But Zillion II I got just because I'm really going for a lot of Master System games. But that game is nothing compared to the first one. Zillion II is this weird mishmash of like side-scrolling motorcycle action, and then the next level will be like an action platformer, but it's crap, and then it goes back to a motorcycle stage, and it's poop, and yeah. So Zillion II, not really recommended, but I did still kind of want it. And then the game I really wanted there was Double Dragon. They had this at a ridiculous price for a long time. I think $40. It is complete in box, and it is in really good shape, but it's not worth $40. They looked it up on Amazon, and they were like, oh yeah, that's way overpriced, and they sold it for like, I want to say $15 to me, so great deal on that. And then a game I've been after for a while. It seems like every time I see this game, it just tickles my fancy. I'm not really sure why, but La Pucelle Tactics. There's something about this game that I want to play this game so bad. First of all, I've never heard of Mastiff, the company that put this out. Second of all, I like the cover art for some reason, and I like the title. I don't know, I like everything about it. The screenshots on the back look like a more advanced Final Fantasy Tactics, and I like those games now. I'm totally into the tactical RPGs now, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, it was a decent price. So La Pucelle Tactics, from what I hear, is a decent game. Pretty stoked on that one. Okay, and then, let's see, last game I got from the game store, pretty stoked on, because they never have good DS games complete in box, but this one they did, Final Fantasy Tactics A2. I've owned this twice before, and have gotten rid of my copies. One time as a favor to a friend, and the other time, I think, just because I needed money and didn't care about tactical RPGs back then. Now I do, and very happy to have Final Fantasy Tactics A2, and it is complete and in very, very nice condition. So, very stoked to have that. Okay, so, next stuff I got, let's see. Oh, next thing I got is just one thing. This came from a pawn shop and was a really cool story. Going to this pawn shop, they generally know their prices really well on games, especially cartridge-based games. If it's a cartridge-based game and they take it in, they immediately look up prices. They sell all the good stuff on eBay, and all the sports titles end up in their store, and they've got literally drawers of sports titles for NES and Super Nintendo. However, they don't seem to check their prices on like DS, Wii, PSP, and like Game Boy Advance games. They don't really check as much on those, it seems like, because I've caught them slipping on those a couple of times, and this time I caught them slipping on something I really needed, because my friend Ivy gave me the case and manual for Zelda Spirit Tracks, and I've been after the cart only for quite some time, but this cart is kind of expensive. I just ran into it at GameStop recently, and I think it was like $20 or $25, something like that, and I was like, no way. So I go to the pawn shop, digging through the DS box, and at the very bottom is Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, cart only, $10 each. Had to grab Spirit Tracks, which completed my copy, so I got, because Ivy gave this to me for free, I got a complete in-box copy of Spirit Tracks for $10 whole. That is a score, and I freaking love completing things from like 2 different sources or 3 different sources. That is amazing. It's such a cool feeling. So yeah, thank you very much, Ivy, for hooking me up with this DS case and manual, and now I have an official complete copy of that game. Speaking of boxes, Jake hooked me up with the awesome box because he saw that I got a game that I've been after for quite some time, and he had the game complete in box, but as a Game Boy Advance collector, he doesn't seem to care as much about the boxes. And he wanted one thing from me. This is going to seem like a funny trade, but he wanted one thing from me, and that was a broken Game Gear. He knew that I had like 4 broken Game Gears, which is completely true. I have like 4 broken Game Gears. I personally don't have a working Game Gear still. I have one that turns on once in a while, like you have to turn it off and on a bunch of times. But anyways, long story short, I was very stoked to get this box just for a broken Game Gear that I have like, 3 others of. And he was very stoked to get the Game Gear because he bought a capacitor kit and replaced the capacitors on the Game Gear and got it working perfectly. So he's going to teach me how to do it as well, and I'm very excited to do that. If I do learn, maybe I'll do a video on it. That'd be pretty awesome. Or maybe I can convince Jake to do a video with me about it. But anyways, either way, I got Shining Force on Game Boy Advance, box, inserts, all manuals, everything for that broken Game Gear. This is Resurrection of the Dark Dragon, and if you don't know what this is, stop watching this video immediately and go out and buy this or order it online. This is amazing. If you like Shining Force at all, especially the first one, what this basically is a remake of the first Shining Force on Sega Genesis. And it's got superior graphics, the sound's improved, more characters, more battles. It's just more, and it's amazing. I've only popped it in for a little bit, and I was like starting to get addicted. So yeah, get that game. It is amazing. I just picked up the cart recently, so now I have a complete box copy. Stoked. Thank you very much, Jake. So glad that you got that Game Gear working. That is amazing. Actually, have scored a couple good Game Gear games recently, so we're gonna have to try those out. But yeah, so that's all I got from Jake, and then let's see, I got 2 more sets of pickups for you. The first set of pickups is from my buddy Trent, who hooks me up with amazing deals all the freaking time. This one was no exception. This was just 2 Sega Master System games and a couple other games. So first, the Sega Master System games. Got Slapshot for Sega, which is no big deal or anything. This is actually kind of an expensive sports game. I'm not gonna lie, it's like 20 or 25 bucks for a complete box copy, and this is in great shape. And yeah, this was a trade. Can't remember offhand what I traded him. And then I also got Spider-Man on Master System as well. Hell yeah. Just so stoked I'm getting all these Master System games. No manual on this one, but the cart's like mint. And yeah, freaking awesome. That was a good deal. I think he got... Pretty sure Sonic Shuffle was in the trade somewhere. Pretty sure it was Sonic Shuffle for like 1 or 2 of these, or maybe I gave him 2 games for these. Can't remember, but... Anyways, okay, so the big trade I did with him was for, let's see, it was Illbleed for Sega Dreamcast. Complete in box copy that I got for a really good deal from my buddy Kevin. Kevin couldn't get rid of it for whatever reason, and I was like, I think I know a couple people that need that. I have a lot of connections video game-wise. So he sold it to me when he needed money, and I got Illbleed, immediately told Trent, and he was just like, oh my god, after that. And he was so after it that he ordered 2 games for me. He actually ordered these games specifically for me, and he found good deals on both of them. He didn't tell me what he paid, but he said they were good enough deals that it was worth the trade. So I'm stoked. He was stoked. First of all, I got Chaos Field on GameCube. I almost said N64. This is clearly not N64. This is GameCube. This is one of the few shooters on GameCube, one of the very few shooters on GameCube besides Ikaruga that I can think of. And this is a bullet hell shooter, and it is fun as shit, and it's hard as shit, and nobody seems to talk about it at all. So I'm pretty stoked on that. My buddy Kevin, actually the one that hooked me up with Illbleed, is after this game really hardcore after I told him about it, because he's after overhead shooters as well. So, yeah, what I can tell you is that it's an amazing overhead game, but it's like so many bullets on screen at once that your ship, you have to move it like a millimeter to each side. And like, I mean, you have to avoid bullets and be so precise with your movements. It's pretty crazy, but awesome, awesome game that I need to practice more. Okay, and then the other game that I got from him for the trade was Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx. I can't even believe I'm holding this right now. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to have this game anytime soon. It does have a little bit of manual damage right here, but it's complete, and other than the slight manual damage, it's in really good shape. I've played it, I've tried it out. It is amazing, very fun game. Beat 'em up horror game where you can go from room to room, and you can actually choose different paths to the boss. So there will be a boss, the same boss for the same stage, but there's 2 different ways to like get to that boss. Pretty freaking neat. Splatterhouse, awesome game for the TurboGrafx. I cannot recommend it enough. Thank you so much, Trent, for that trade. That is freaking amazing. These 2 games were very, very, very high on my list of wants, so that is pretty amazing. And then I got 2 more games for you guys. Last pickup, this came from Haven. I did a trade last pickup video where I got Felix the Cat and Mega Man 5 and like a few other games. I did 2 more trades with him. And the first one was a game that I've been after for a while. In fact, he got this from a guy that I was trying to get it from for quite a while, and he wouldn't budge on it. He finally budged with Haven and traded it for something, and then Haven immediately offered it to me. I think he got this game pretty much just to trade it to me, but this is Gigawing for Dreamcast, and whew, man, talk about bullet hell. This is a bullet hell that puts Chaos Field to shame. This is a freaking hard game. So freaking hard. I can't even, yeah, it's going to take a lot of practice for me to get good at this game, but amazing graphics, amazing soundtrack. This is an overhead shooter that is like unmatched. It is, as soon as I found out what this was, once I saw like what exactly Gigawing was, I knew I had to have that game, and I'm very stoked to have it, so yes. And the last game I have for you guys, another trade I did with Haven. This was actually separate. We did all 3 of our trades, I think, within 9 days of each other. And the last one I got was a game that was literally at the top of my list. There are very few games at the very, very top of my list, and this was up there with like Ogre Battle. I got Ogre Battle, you know, a couple months ago, and I was like, what now? What now was this game? NEUTOPIA. Now I'm really after NEUTOPIA 2 for TurboGrafx 16, but very hard to get. Way harder than this one to get. But this, just getting the first one. This is a Zelda clone, if you guys don't know. This is like a mix. This is like in between Zelda for NES and Zelda for Super Nintendo. That's graphically what it looks like. And it is no joke. It's a Zelda ripoff. It really is. But flattery is good sometimes. When a game is copying another game, if they do it right, it is good. In NEUTOPIA, it is very good. I am so stoked to have NEUTOPIA. This is one of the, like I said, one of the most wanted games that I have on my want list, and it was very nice to cross it off and to actually pop this into the TurboGrafx and play it. And it's in very good shape. It's just so amazing that I got that. I've been scoring some cool Sega Master System and TurboGrafx games lately, and that just blows my mind because they're kind of hard to collect for, but it's what I'm after. So that leads to the question for today's episode. What are you guys after hardcore that's not like Nintendo or Genesis or Super Nintendo or any of the commoner systems? Like, do you collect for systems that are a little more uncommon, like the Jaguar or like the Lynx or like, you know, TurboGrafx or Sega CD? Is there anything you collect for like that you're pretty hardcore after games with? Let me know in the comments below. I always like knowing what people like. I mean, some people are after Odyssey games. Just you never know. Some people like Odyssey games. Whatever. Some people like Intellivision. I like Intellivision. But TurboGrafx, Sega Master System are my top kind of weirdo systems to collect for. So yeah, leave a comment in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the episode and what weirdo collecting systems, what weirdo systems you collect for. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so there you go. A ton more games, and there they are integrated into the shelf. Really freaking stoked on some of those pickups. Some of them are just incredible. Yeah, Splatterhouse, Gigawing, just, yeah, incredible. Incredible pickups. So stoked. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody that's helped contribute to this madness. And let me know what you guys think of the overwhelmingly quick-filling shelf. Magic. That's what it is. It's magic. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like the video, go ahead and give a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos by me and want to see me ramble about obsolete games, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's down there. Blah, blah, blah. It's down there. It's red and it says subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Keep rocking the retro games.